What's poppin', y'all? I guess when you're a millionaire streamer in your crib for like 8+ years, you just don't learn the basic things that other people are learning, or you get lost in the sauce. Because this chick's response to her brother passing away, it was absolutely insane.
I didn't stream yesterday. My brother passed away yesterday. And I had like my meetings, and my mom called me and she was like, "Yeah, Mark died." And I was like, "Oh." And so yeah, he had a really bad alcohol problem, and he passed away from uh alcohol. So sad. Yeah, so that was yesterday. I just felt really bad because I had like a lot of resentment towards him. We did not have a relationship. I was like kind of angry yesterday because my he just like didn't treat my mom with respect. He did not like my mom. And then my mom was like crying on the phone yesterday to me, and then she was like, you should forgive him. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I have to because he's dead. Like, well, I don't know, this freaking sucks. Like, I don't know. I was like angry, and she was like, no, she's like, it's okay, just forgive him. And I'm like, fine, I forgive him, but what the like, I shouldn't have to forgive him just because he died. I was like, okay, no, that's fine. And so I was just having a weird day yesterday, and I was like, like, you know, we never had a relationship. I feel like he never allowed us to have a relationship. After my dad passed away, he never tried talking to my sister and I again. So it's like, why? Like, okay, yeah, great, you passed away. Fine. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for his kids because his kids are actually nice to us. But it's like, damn.
First off, the most horrifying part of this is towards the end when she's saying, like, yeah, his kids are nice to me. Wait, what? His kids? The kids that are all scrolling social media, and you're one of the most popular figures, and also unjustifiably so get hate clipped by people. And this is something I think that successful female streamers struggle with a lot more than successful male streamers, because if a successful male streamer is not political whatsoever, he's not really going to have much of a hate base that want to farm him for engagement. Whereas female streamers all have this if they are after they get to a certain popularity level. But just listening to this, number one, the first thought that came to my mind was, why are you sharing this online? What are you doing? Like, this wasn't a headline that was spreading and you were like, okay, guys, I have to address this. None of that. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, that's your brother, or like, that's your mother, or that's your sister. No, sometimes like close family has caused the greatest pain and suffering to an individual. In particular, a sibling. For example, like some siblings are just so messed up, and they're constantly, like, for example, like, let's say a sibling is really hooked on something and like maybe a gambler, and they're constantly lying and taking advantage of the parents, and the other sibling that's normal is seeing that, and they're like, man, this person's like making my parents' life hell, and they're stressing them out. Like, why can't they just get it together? Like, that's a situation that is understandable why someone would hold some sort of animosity, I guess, towards a sibling. But number one, you don't have to share this. Number two, you're even allowed to hate them. But the way that she came on here, it was so cold, like ice cold. And another streamer who was cool with her at a certain point in time, Mizkif, who had his own set of controversies, he responded to this with something quite sensible.
Listen, I am a very big believer in that you do not need to love just because they're siblings. If you had a bad, maybe let's say abusive or some kind of horrible relationship with somebody that was in your family, you do not need to love them. Just because you're blood does not mean you need to love them. But I will say this about Ray. The fact that she just said that he has kids, they're probably online. The fact that they probably know who she is. And the fact that she's talking about this publicly about their father's death and is basically saying she doesn't really care is really gross. I don't care that she's like, I get it if you are not really close with your brother. I totally get that. But you got to think of the family here and the kids, and even your mom, because it's still her son. that even if they weren't close or any of that stuff, you're a public figure live talking about their father and how he's dead from being an alcoholic, and you're throwing out your family's trauma out there. I think that's very wrong. I think that's very, very wrong.
Yeah, this is the most brutal part about it. Like, she's talking about him having been an alcoholic a little bit later, and she's not close to him, but she's close to his kids, like her nieces or nephews. So I don't know how that works, but also like her mom. And I think there seems to be this element of maybe jealousy that she has of him because of how her mom feels about him. And she's looking at it like, well, I'm this, this is some armchair psychology, by the way. I'm just saying, it's straight up armchair psychology. I'm not diagnosing anything, nothing like that. I'm just thinking in my mind, and this is justifiable, by the way. Like, if I'm Valkyrie and I've made such huge success for myself, and she's obviously taken care of her mother and provided for people, and she's hearing her mother being so distraught about this and how much love her mother has for her, for lack of a better word, from Valkyrie's opinion, mess up of a brother, she's probably like, damn, like, even you just don't show me this level of appreciation or this level of love. Meanwhile, this guy who's done everything wrong while I've done everything correct, I'm the one that's like, not getting enough love, and he's getting so much attention. So I could understand that, to be honest. If I were her, I'd be heated. But like I said, with the nieces and nephews situation, they are going to see this. It is 100% they were going to see this. Like, they know you're not, and you don't think like, them hearing their aunt talk about their father in this way, like, that's traumatizing. And how is that going to change how they look at you? And you got to keep in mind, we don't know the familial situation, but that guy was probably hiding the fact that he had this like alcoholism or addiction, which this is another thing. Like, isn't addiction a quote unquote disease to people in Valkyrie's community? And by community, I mean people with the ideology that she subscribes to and she bends to, which we'll get into a little bit later. So if addiction is a disease, then you kind of like bringing this forward and, having no empathy or sympathy really for this individual on stream that's close to you. Yeah, that's not good. Well, that's actually one of the most tone deaf things that I've ever seen. And I've seen enough stuff on the internet. And you would think maybe after this, she's probably like, and this is also another thing. They probably hid that from the kids. So now the kids are having to find out that their dad, which this is a possibility, right? Like, we don't know this for sure. They have to find out that their dad's an alcoholic through their aunt that also hates their dad, which they probably didn't know that she hated him. Because let's keep it a buck, dog. She was not indifferent towards this guy. If you were like kind of just haven't talked to your brother in a long time, you're going to feel something. She felt nothing. So that means she had to feel hate towards him before that. That's the only logical conclusion. But she would come back and react to this, and you think she would apologize maybe or say something like that. Oh boy.
When you lose someone that you're related to that you don't have a healthy relationship with, there are a lot of people like that, like me. And I think it's reassuring that there are a lot of people that are being empathetic towards my emotions. I'm really sad today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really sad. It's been a frustrating few days, right? Talking to people has helped a lot. And I appreciate the people that understand how emotionally turmoil it can be to lose a family member that you don't have a good relationship with. It's very complicated. And for some reason, some people can't understand that. It's so weird. It's actually so weird. But whatever. Grief is a roller coaster. Yeah, it is. And I think I need to give myself a little more grace because God damn it, people piss me off. A lot of people reached out, which was nice. It was really, really nice. I also don't get along with my family, and people never understand it. I completely get it. Thank you. I feel like only people that understand what it's like to have bad relationships with family members will probably understand. I don't know how to describe it to people. I genuinely don't. I don't know. I just could not believe how obliterated, once again, I was getting for not reacting the right way to my brother passing. I don't know.
This is the thing. It's not that people don't understand that, which some people do, but the whole thing is, why are you sharing this? And this is where it comes back to when streamers complain about parasocial relationships or stalkers or things like that. Sharing like this cultivates that. And Miskiff would even respond to this in another clip that actually made some sense as well.
4 years of being alive, she has not realized that she needs to stop talking so much. I don't know why she shares so much, knowing that people will just constantly clip the living shit out of her. Like, you gotta not talk about things.
So he was self-aware enough to say that, yeah, you know, coming from me, but he's experienced this and he's had a relationship both publicly and one that he hid in private, which makes sense because he was probably like, okay, I learned from the first situation, let me change it up here. But Valkyrie, like I've said in the past in videos that I've spoken about her, I really do not, I wish I could say that I don't think she's the brightest bulb, like the brightest light bulb, but I think she's the broken light bulb. It's like the light bulb that, you know, you get a set of 12 and then you pull one out and you shake it and you hear the slinky, the metal in the middle, and you're like, oh, okay, this one's not even gonna work. That's what I think Valkyrie is up there, because when you share something like this to your audience, they're going to feel close to you. They're going to be like, damn, this person's share. This is something that you don't share. You don't mention this. You just say, hey, you know, I had to take some time off. Something personal happened. If you want to take time off at all. But it's clear that she didn't really care about the situation. So you could just say, yeah, you know, I've been spending time with my mom. She's been going through some stuff. That's it. That's all you have to do. And how does she not know this after she's been doing this for like 8 years? Like Valkyrie's up like 50 M's. Let's keep it a stack. Like, this isn't just like, oh, a millionaire streamer, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 M's, which is already like, we're looking at it like, damn, that's crazy. No, she was through prime Fortnite. She was through prime like Among Us. She went through prime all of this stuff. So she's up 50 M's plus, if not 100. I haven't done my full pocket watching. So for her to just come here and think it's okay to say that and then not understand that the biggest problem is you sharing this and how the kids would react to this, and the insensitivity around that is the biggest problem. But she doesn't see that. She's just like, yeah, you know, people don't understand that you can have a complicated relationship with a sibling, and I'm glad that there's some people that understand that. No, the people that understand that are the parasocial crazy people that are looking at you and saying like, hey, you know, we understand. Like, no, if you're somebody that watches her, you're probably, and you're of sound mind, you should probably be like, yeah, you know, I don't think you should have shared this with us. But if they're saying like, yeah, you know, we appreciate you, we love you, that's somebody that's dangerous. And then when people like dig into her relationships and things like that, she says, oh, you know what, people are parasocial. And this isn't her. I'm not quoting her saying this, but streamers that overshare, then they suddenly say, oh, you know, like our relationship when they break up is none of your business. No, you actually made it everybody's business. You made your entire life the people's business. You overshared every single aspect of your life. So it's not entitlement that the crazy viewers that you have cultivated want to know how that's progressed, because you've shared everything with them thus far. You've set a standard for that. And this is the craziest thing, because she's apologized or understood for much, much less. Like, she's had close friends of hers, like, for example, Asmongold, right? Like, this guy's one of the biggest streamers. However, in her community, he is quite controversial. And in these types of communities, there are people that are quote unquote friends, but if you're friends with somebody else that has opposing views or that they deem any type of label, it's like, oh no, you're not allowed to do that, which F that. Like, if anybody is like, yo, you got to behave differently, you got to talk differently to be around, that's not your friend. Like, that's it. Like, it could be a business acquaintance. That's understandable and you understand the situation, but that is not your friend. There's just a lack of compatibility there. But she revealed that when she previously had a controversy, she would DM this guy Asmongold because he's handled them in the past, which means, like, you know, he was offering her help, and they ripped her to shreds for this. And she would come back kowtowing on her knees, please, please, please forgive me.
At the end of the day, it is my fault for not being aware enough, and I apologize to my community. It was probably so hurtful and so jarring. I'm under a rock, and that's my fault. So I think everyone, including myself, should be more aware of, you know, what's going on in the world and what people are saying. I just, like, it is my fault at the end of the day. That is my fault. Literally no one's fault but my own. I'm not aware enough, and that's on me. Ray, you're a good role model still at this point. I don't think so. I don't think I am. I think I have a good job of recognizing when I do mess up and accepting that and being okay with it. But and it's all good. It's all like I hear you guys. I see you guys. You're right. You're so right. And it is 100,000% my fault for not being aware enough. And I need to be more proactive in being aware of people and what's going on in this world. Listen, guys, even when it's happening to me, it is 1,000% okay to hold people accountable for actions and mistakes, okay? I think that the biggest discourse is seeing, like, I feel like the community is split. Like, some people are being too harsh, some people are not being harsh enough, and it's like I see you, okay? It is a good thing. And because of that, I was able to do like a deep dive. I was able to leave my rock and see and be more aware of it. And you know, I need to be more aware.
So for somebody who was asking for forgiveness for something that could have just passed and so many different times is like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. Just in a panic to apologize for nothing burgers, for things that mean nothing, to not even understand what's going on here and not only not sharing, but why people are telling you you shouldn't share and this is cruel of you doing this. She can't even wrap her head around that or not apologize, but like if you're going to apologize to anybody, like apologize to the kids and be like, hey, look, you know, like I'm sorry to my nieces and nephews that, you know, I brought the situation online. It should have stayed offline. And like now your mom's probably getting clips of it too, because that's how viral this stuff goes now. Like the network effect is, I'm not going to get into that. That's a tangent that none of you guys care about. So yeah, Valkyrie here is tripping. I wish I could put myself in the mind frame where somebody would share something like this, but I can't. She's just just a broken bulb, unfortunately, in my opinion, because Aiden Ross has gone through a lot of stuff with his family and he knows how to handle this. And Aiden Ross is 10 years younger than her. And she blew up years before Aiden Ross too. So Aiden Ross is like, yeah, you know, guys, I had to take some time off. Granted, Aiden Ross is lazy as hell. So he just has to tell his audience like, yo, you know, it's some family stuff. And then a lot of them understand, but they're not going to probe more than that. Now, some people will, of course, and Aiden is just so big that people will figure out what's going on, but he makes every attempt to keep that stuff offline, which is understandable. You are the public figure. You have kept your brother outside of any type of conversation, from what we've seen, off the internet for this long. But when he dies, you're bringing him into it? Like, come on, like take a note out of Pokemon's book, who I do think she has a good relationship with her brother. But she went to her brother's wedding, and we didn't see the brother, we didn't see the bride, we didn't see her family. She just posted a picture of herself. So she's respecting the privacy of them and their marriage and their lives, and understands that she's the public figure. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Am I tripping and Valkyrie was like, this was a fine thing to do? Let me know. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.